Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of learning our beautiful Indigenous song Galnya, Nginak. I'm Sophie and I'm excited today because we're going to be putting part 1 and part 2 together. So we've sung through part 1, we've sung through part 2 and we know the lyrics. So now it's just a matter of us combining those two parts to create that harmony I was talking about last time. So it's going to sound really beautiful. And today we're going to sing it with the backing track. So that'll be exciting to hear because that's something you can use as part of your online resources as well. So hopefully your voices are all warmed up and your thinking caps are on and you're ready to jump into week 3. So before we jump into singing the two parts together and revising those melodies, let's just go over our lyrics again. Do you remember what the song means? Have a think, see if you can remember. If you can't, it doesn't matter because we're going to go over it all again now. So I'm going to speak through the Indigenous lyrics first and then I'll get you to copy me after each phrase. So let's go. When my hand is here, I'm demonstrating, and when I do this, I'd like you to have a go yourselves. All right, so the first line, Galnya, Nginak, your turn. Galnya, Nginak. Wanal water wungi, your turn. Wanal water wungi. Doma nina yenbana, your turn. Doma nina yenbana. Wuta yepeni ye puch woka. Wuta yepeni ye puch woka. Excellent. So that might just get those lyrics back into your minds because today we'll be spending time singing with the lyrics on the melody. So I want you to have those words nice and comfortable in your brain. Do you remember what it meant? Let's very quickly just revise the meaning. Galnya Nginak, how are you? Galnya Na, I'm good. Wanal water wungi. Wanal water wungi, Doma nina yenbana. Where are all the Aboriginal people? Wuta yepini ye puch woka. My dear people are all together on this land. So if we sing along, try and remember what you think the meaning of this is and what it means to you to be living on this land and thinking about the people past and present and emerging who are part of our country. So let's get into it. Part 1 and part 2, harmony singing now. So the first thing we'll do is sing through part 1. So we're going to do it slowly without the backing track first, and I'd just like you to sing with me. If you want to listen the first time, that's absolutely fine, but you might remember it as we go anyway and start to join in, which would be terrific. So let's have a go. Our first note, ga, is there. Are you ready? Let's try. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, na. Wanal water wungi, wanal water wungi. Doma nina yenbana. Wuta yepeni ye puch woka. So there's our first verse, the main theme, which is part 1. We'll go into part 2 again in a minute, but right now I just want to repeat that so that you have a go at singing that maybe 2 more times. Let's have a go. We're going to go a little bit faster this time, and then we're going to add the backing track for the 3rd time. So let's try all together. Ga, 1, 2. Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, na. Wanal water Lovely. How did you go with the long note, the high long note at the end? Did you remember to count? I tried to keep the beats going a little bit to help you along. But remember, it's quite a long note and then it drops down to that lower note afterwards. Now we're going to try with the backing track. It's a little bit faster, so be ready. You have to think ahead and take nice, big, beautiful, low, deep breaths. Let's have a go. So getting ready to take a deep breath now. And Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, Wana wata wongi, Wana wata wongi, Dorma nina yenbana, Wuta yepeni yepo choka. I hope you could notice it's a little bit faster, but that's really good because that means it's a little bit easier to get through those phrases when they're high and we've got some long notes. So hopefully the slightly faster tempo is really helpful for you. Let's go on now and sing the next little part that we learnt last time, the harmony. So hopefully you remember this harmony part is where part 1 and part 2 combine, and both parts have a little bit of melody and a little bit of harmony. So there'll be parts that you can remember that sound familiar and then some notes that are a little bit different. So just listen carefully. We'll go through it 3 times again. So twice with me, and then the 3rd time we'll have a go with our backing track. So this is the part which comes in after part 2 starts to take over the melody. And part 1 continues after that long high note with this. Listen to me first if you like. Galnya, wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi, Dorma nina yenbana, Uta yepeni yepo choka. Hear the different ending? We don't drop down to that note like we do the first time we sing it. The second time it just ends on the high note and it's a little bit shorter. So I'd like you to sing with me now, that second section. You can hear there's some melody still in there and then there's some different notes. So make sure you listen carefully and try that with me. Ready? This is your first note. Ga, ready, and Galnya, wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi. Rest, rest. Dorma nina yenbana, Uta yepeni yepo choka. And here the end is a little bit shorter there. You can finish the note and you won't run out of breath, hopefully. The next time we're going to do it now, the 3rd time, with the backing track. Let's see how we go. So this is the end of the previous first time we sing it. Here's the long note. And are you ready for the next bit? And breathe. Galnya, wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi. Rest. Dorma nina yenbana, Uta yepeni yepo choka. Hopefully you managed to work out where those different little bits are, especially this one where there's the rest. Dorma nina yenbana. It's slightly different to the previous part. You might have been able to hear a bit of part 2 coming through there too on the backing track. That's what we're going to do next. But let's just sing part 1 one more time, just that the 2nd time we sing it, just to get that in your heads. And ready. Galnya, wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi, that's the end of all of part 1. So you can see it's in 2 different sections, the main theme and then slightly different theme the second time through. Let's have a go at part 2 now. So part 2 and part 1 sound exactly the same the first time we sing it. We sing in unison, both of those parts. So if you've decided you'd like to sing part 2, we're now going to sing the second half of the song, which is where part 1 and part 2 do different things. So we just heard what part 1 does. This is what part 2 does. A lot of it's similar, but there's some different notes as we go on. Have a listen to me first and then sing along. Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi, doma nina yembana, uta yabani yepuchuaka. Could you tell where the different notes were? Could you sort of hear part 1 a little bit in your head as well? So you can hear they're quite different. One's quite high and one's quite low. So you can decide which part you enjoy singing the most and stick with one of those so that when we run it together next week, you've chosen your part. Let's do that again. I'd like you to sing with me this time the part 2 section of the second half of the song. Are you ready? It starts the same as the beginning. Ready and Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, now stay on this note. Wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi, doma nina yembana, uta yabani yepuchuaka. Slightly different at the end, it drops down rather than going up like part 1, so you're going to split apart like that. Are you ready to try with the backing track? Let's see how we go. Alright, so I'm going to press play on the backing track and it's going to start just from the end of the first section and then we'll continue on with that bit we just sang. Ready to breathe? Here we go, and Galnya, Nginak, Galnya, this note again. Wana wata wongi, wana wata wongi, doma nina yenbana, uta yabani yepuchuaka. Did you hear how the 2 parts created a beautiful harmony? It'll be easier here when you're singing with someone else. Hopefully you'll get to do that soon. But it's really lovely to hear how those 2 parts intertwine and where you both join to sing the harmony part. You've done really well today, learning all of those and putting it all together and remembering all those Indigenous lyrics as well. Next time, we're going to be putting the whole song together. We're going to be performing it. So we're going to run through the whole thing without stopping a few times so that you can really sort of confirm what you've learned over the last few weeks with me. So I'm looking forward to seeing you again and enjoy your singing this week. Bye.